somewhere in America right now, there's a smart, capable woman standing in her kitchen, surrounded by parts she can't put together, with tears of frustration burning behind her eyes. She's done everything right. She read the manual twice. She followed every single step. And still, nothing fits. Now, here's the thing. What happened next in this little story is going to flip everything you thought you knew about being smart right on its head. Stay with me through this one, because by the end, you're going to know exactly why the wisest person you've ever met probably didn't have a single fancy degree to their name. Her name was Sarah, and she was the kind of woman everybody in her little Ohio neighborhood admired. 46 years old, 2 grown kids, a steady job at the regional bank, a college degree framed on the wall of her home office. That Saturday morning, she'd come home from the appliance store with a brand new stand mixer, the fancy kind, the one she'd been saving up for almost a full year. She set her coffee down on the counter, opened the box with a little smile on her face, and spread every single piece out across her butcher block island. The afternoon sun was streaming through the kitchen window. The coffee was hot. The day was hers. And somewhere in that quiet kitchen, you could almost hear the universe getting ready to teach her something she didn't know she needed to learn. See, Sarah had spent her whole adult life believing one thing above all else, that being smart meant following the rules. Read the directions. Do it by the book. Color inside the lines. That's how she got through college. That's how she climbed the ladder at the bank. That's how she raised her kids. And deep down, if she was being honest with herself, there was this quiet little fear she carried around. A fear that if she ever stopped following the manual, if she ever had to figure something out on her own, she might find out she wasn't actually as capable as everybody thought she was. That fear had been sitting on her shoulder for 30 years, and she had no idea it was about to get knocked clean off dot by 2 o'clock that afternoon. Sarah had read the instruction booklet front to back twice. She'd matched every part number to every diagram. She'd lined everything up just like the pictures showed. And nothing, I mean nothing, was fitting together the way it was supposed to. By 3, her coffee had gone cold. By 4, her hands were shaking. By 5, she shoved the whole mess to the far side of the counter, grabbed her purse, and walked out the door to drive over to her sister's place, just to get away from it. That's when Rachel, the woman who came every other Saturday to help Sarah clean the house, quietly let herself in through the back door. And what happened next, Sarah never could have predicted. Rachel had been cleaning Sarah's house for almost 6 years. She was a quiet woman, 53 years old, who'd grown up on a small farm in eastern Kentucky and never made it past the 3rd grade because she was needed in the fields. She couldn't read more than a handful of words. She'd built a good, honest life with her own 2 hands, raised 3 kids, buried a husband, kept a roof over her family's head by cleaning other people's houses. When she stepped into that kitchen and saw the parts spread across the counter, she set down her bucket, walked over slowly, and stood there for a long minute. She didn't pick up the manual. She didn't even glance at it. She just looked at each piece, one at a time, turning them over in her calloused hands the way her daddy used to turn over a piece of broken machinery out in the barn. Now here's the part most people miss. Rachel didn't try to figure out what the parts were called. She didn't try to remember what the manual said. She just looked at each piece and asked herself one simple question. Where does this want to go? The shaft had a groove, so something with a matching ridge had to slide into it. The bowl had a notch on its base, so something on the stand had to lock into that notch. One piece at a time, one quiet question at a time. By the time the sun started slipping low behind the picket fence outside, that stand mixer was standing on the counter, fully assembled, humming softly as Rachel tested it with a small bowl of flour. And she was smiling, Not a proud smile, just a quiet one. The kind your grandmother used to wear when she pulled a pie out of the oven and knew it was good. When Sarah's car pulled back into the driveway, around 7 that evening, she walked through her front door, bracing herself for the mess she'd left behind. Instead, she walked into the smell of fresh-baked banana bread and the soft hum of a perfectly working stand, mixer sitting right there on her counter. She froze. She stared. And for a second, she felt something she hadn't felt in a long, long time. The same feeling she'd had as a little girl watching her granddaddy fix the carburetor on his old Ford pickup truck with nothing but a rag, a wrench, and his own 2 hands. No manual, no diagram. Just a man who understood things.
Sarah set her purse down slowly. She walked into the kitchen, and she just looked at Rachel for a long moment. "How?" she finally whispered. "How on earth did you do this?" Rachel wiped her hands on her apron. She looked up with those kind, steady eyes, and she said it so simply, so without a drop of pride or shame in her voice. "Ma'am, when you can't read, you've got to use your head." Sarah didn't say a word. She just stood there in her own kitchen, in her own house, listening to the gentle hum of that mixer she couldn't build. And somewhere deep inside her chest, something she'd been carrying for 30 years quietly let go. All those years of believing that smart meant following the rules. All those years of being afraid that without the manual, she was nothing. And here was a woman who'd never finished the 3rd grade, teaching her without even trying what intelligence actually was. And what Sarah understood in that moment is something you're going to carry with you for the rest of your life. Here's the truth, friend. We live in a world that's taught us to trust the manual more than our own minds. We've been told that the answers are always in somebody else's book, on somebody else's page, in somebody else's voice. But the wisest people you'll ever meet in this life, the grandmothers, the farmers, the mechanics, the night shift nurses, the quiet folks who never bragged about a thing, they didn't get wise by reading the rules. They got wise by using their heads, opening their eyes, and trusting what God gave them between their ears. So here's what I want you to do this week. The next time you're stuck on something, a problem at work, a conversation you've been putting off, a decision you've been overthinking for months, put the manual down, close the search tab, step away from everybody else's advice, and just ask yourself one simple, honest question. What does my own common sense already know about this? Then trust the answer. And listen. I want to hear from you on this one. Who's the Rachel in your life? Who's the person who never had the degree, never had the title, never had the fancy words, but always somehow knew what to do? Type their first name in the comments below. Just their first name. I read every single comment that comes through on this channel. Every one of them, because somebody else watching this video tonight is silently struggling with the exact same thing you're struggling with. And your one little comment might be the thing that gives them the courage to keep going. That's how this community works. We hold each other up, one name at a time. And if this story moved you even a little, do me one favor. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. New stories like this one come out every week, and I want to make sure the next one finds its way to you on the night you need it most. You take care of yourself out there. And remember, the smartest thing you'll ever own is the head sitting on top of your shoulders.